Welcome to the Computer Anatomy presentation. We're going to take a look at what's really inside a computer and how it all works. You will learn about inputs and outputs in a computer system and how they compare to input and output in a human body. Have you ever wondered how a computer works? Some people may think that computers are magic boxes, or perhaps they imagine thousands of tiny wires crammed inside. Neither of those ideas is quite right. In fact, the inside of a computer is very organized. Inside the smooth cases of computers, smartphones, tablets, and other devices are parts called hardware. Each part has a specific job to do. All of the other parts work together to make a system. For computers, it's all about information. Computers take in information, computers process information, computers store information, and computers give out information. Information is also called data. Look at the diagram of the computer system and notice how data flows through a computer system. The hardware in a computer is an intricate network of tiny components connected to each other by very thin wires embedded in a board made out of special plastic. The components pass information back and forth through electrical signals that travel along the wires. The CPU, or Central Processing Unit, is like the brain of the computer. It is in charge of all the transactions and operations. Basically, the CPU bosses all of the other components around. Even though the CPU is in charge, it would not be able to do its job without the help of its partners, the memory and the hard disk, to store information. The CPU swaps out data in and out of the storage while it is processing information. Imagine if you were sorting a deck of playing cards. You might want to make small piles of cards while you sort, putting all of the red cards in one pile, then all of the black cards in another pile. Then you could work on each of the piles, sorting the red cards into two more piles of hearts and diamonds, and the black cards into piles of spades and clubs. The piles are your storage areas while your brain does the processing. You might be wondering why computers have two types of storage, persistent and temporary. The hard disk is a piece of hardware that stores data permanently until it is erased. The RAM, or random access memory, temporarily holds data while the computer is running. A good way to understand the difference between the RAM and the hard disk is to look at what happens when a computer is turned off. After a computer is turned off, the data in a hard disk stays put, while the data in the RAM goes away. That is because a hard disk stores information permanently, much like a movie DVD or a music CD does. However, the RAM only stores information temporarily, and it requires electricity to hold it there. Therefore, information in the RAM is lost when the computer is turned off. What we've learned so far about computer systems is that the CPU is like a brain and that it works very closely with its memory stores. Computer systems actually have a lot in common with human body systems. Both have a central processor that controls everything else in the system and works closely with data storage component called a memory. As we turn our attention to input and output devices, we'll consider other similarities between a computer system and a human body system. Information comes into a system through its input devices. A system passes back results through its output devices. Both computers and human bodies have inputs and outputs. Let's explore them now. Think about ways that you can put information into a computer. Can you speak words into a computer? Can you take pictures and videos? What other ways can you give information to a computer? Now think about how our bodies take in information. All information comes into our body through our senses. Information that comes in through our senses, whether it's what we taste, touch, smell, see, or hear, is considered input. Match the inputs by dragging each human input onto the computer input that is most similar to it. Computers don't have eyes, but they process images that are delivered through cameras and scanners. Computers don't have ears, but they process sounds through a microphone. Computers can't feel, but they can recognize movement and touch. How does a computer give out information? All information that comes out of a computer comes through its output devices. Think about all of the ways computers give out information. One of the output devices that computers have is something you are looking at right now, a screen. Now consider how a human body gives out information. Think about all of the ways your body responds to the world around you. After receiving input, your brain stores and processes the information and decides what to do with it. Any response that the body generates is considered output. One of the most common ways to give output is by speaking. Humans also have nonverbal ways of communicating. Have you ever heard of the phrase body language? Facial expressions, hand signals, and other nonverbal ways of communicating are very useful human outputs. Match the outputs by dragging each human output onto the computer output that is most similar to it. Now that you know how to define input and output, listen to the following example and identify the inputs and outputs. Susie has just finished reading an ebook on a tablet computer in school. On the tablet is a multiple choice question that Susie has to answer. Susie selects an answer by tapping on it. The tablet makes a sound while it vibrates in her hands, indicating that the answer she chose is incorrect. Susie realizes her mistake and taps the correct answer. The tablet makes a ding sound and the screen flashes a thumbs up picture. At that exact moment, her teacher calls for everyone to line up for recess. Susie quickly turns the tablet off by pressing the power button. Even though this scenario depicts a very common way that a tablet is used, there was a lot of information moving around the tablet computer. The images here show some of the information that went through the computer system when Susie was reading the ebook and answering the question. Drag the inputs to the input box and the outputs to the output box. Good job! Susie gives the tablet input when she taps on it and when she presses a button to turn it off. The tablet gives output to Susie when it vibrates and when it makes a sound. In fact, all of the images and words on the screen are output. You now have a better understanding of how information moves in and out of a system. Keep observing and asking questions. There is much more to uncover as we explore the intriguing world of computers. Thank you for viewing the Computer Anatomy presentation.